if someone was seen before they were ever born? Not a ghost, not imagination, but a real person who would exist years later. And the most disturbing part, multiple people saw the same face. There are stories that sound impossible, yet too detailed to ignore. This is not about ghosts or imagination. This is about a real person, seen by multiple people, described with perfect accuracy, a face that no one could explain, a person who would only exist years later. It began in a quiet town in the early 1980s, where nothing unusual ever seemed to happen. One night, a woman noticed someone standing outside her house. He wasn't hiding or moving. He was just standing there, completely still, staring. She watched him for a few seconds, expecting him to react, but he didn't. There was something unnatural about the way he stood. It didn't feel like a normal person. What disturbed her the most was his face. She could clearly see it in the dim light. The shape of his eyes, his expression, the way he looked completely calm, yet strangely empty. She later described everything in detail, not as a shadow or a figure, but as a real person. Every feature was clear in her memory. Then, just as suddenly as he appeared, he was gone. No sound, no movement, no trace. At the time, it seemed like a strange but isolated incident. No one thought it meant anything more. What started as a single report soon turned into something far more difficult to explain. Over the following months, more people began to come forward with similar stories. These were not connected individuals, not friends, not neighbors who shared the same experiences. They were strangers, living in different parts of the town, each describing an encounter that sounded almost identical. Each person described seeing the same man, the same face, the same posture, the same unnatural stillness. He would appear in quiet places, often at night, always watching, never interacting, never speaking. The consistency in their descriptions was what made the situation impossible to ignore. Investigators took these reports seriously and began documenting every detail. A sketch artist was brought in to recreate the face based on witness descriptions. What happened next made the case even more disturbing. Each witness, when shown the sketch, confirmed that it matched exactly what they had seen. There were no contradictions, no variations, no uncertainty. It was as if all of them had encountered the same individual at different times and in different places, but no one knew who he was. There were no records, no missing person reports, no identity that matched the face in the sketches. The man existed only in these encounters, appearing briefly and then vanishing completely. The question was no longer whether something strange was happening. The question became how multiple people could describe the exact same unknown person with such precision without any connection between them. Eventually, the reports stopped. The sightings became less frequent, and over time, they disappeared completely. The case was archived, labeled as unexplained, and slowly forgotten. Years passed, and life in the town returned to normal. The story faded into memory, becoming just another strange event that no one could fully understand. But then, something unexpected happened. A child was born in the same region where the sightings had taken place. At first, there was nothing unusual about him. He grew up like any other child, surrounded by family, going through the normal stages of life. There were no signs that connected him to anything strange or unexplained. As he grew older, subtle details began to emerge. His appearance started to develop in a way that felt familiar to those who remembered the old reports. It wasn't immediate, and it wasn't obvious at first. But over time, the resemblance became harder to ignore. People who had once seen the mysterious figure began to notice something that made them deeply uncomfortable. The structure of his face, the intensity in his eyes, the exact expression that had once been described so many times before. It was not just similar, it was almost identical. What had once been a forgotten mystery was slowly returning, but this time in a way that felt far more real and far more disturbing. When the old sketches were finally compared to the young man, the result was impossible to deny. The resemblance was exact. Every detail that had been described years earlier matched perfectly. The shape of the face, the positioning of the eyes, the expression that had once been seen in silence. It was the same person. The realization changed everything. The figure that had appeared years before, the one that had been seen by multiple witnesses, was now standing in front of them as a real, living individual. But there was one problem that no one could explain. At the time of the sightings, he had not been born yet. This raised a question that challenged everything people believed about time and reality. How could someone be seen before they even existed? How could multiple people encounter the same individual years before his birth and describe him with perfect accuracy? The case was no longer just a mystery. It became something far deeper, something that suggested the possibility of time behaving in ways that should not be possible. Some believed it was a glimpse into the future, others thought it could be a distortion in perception, and a few considered the possibility that it was something far beyond human understanding. Whatever the explanation might be, one fact remained unchanged. A person had been seen, described, and remembered long before they ever entered the world. If he had not been born yet, then what did people really see? Was it a glimpse into the future or something far more disturbing? Because if time can reveal a face before it exists, then reality may not be as stable as we believe. And the next time you feel like someone is watching, you might want to ask yourself one question: have you already been seen?